Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Make sure you smash the thumbs up, share the video on your socials to make sure you get to more Celtic supporters than anything. Right, there was a goalkeeper that played against England last night, and Newcastle's Martin Dubravka has posted a message on Instagram after England knocked them out. Yep, England with a 94th minute goal to equalise, and you've got to say, the keeper had a fantastic game. The keeper did have a fantastic game. He commanded his box. I was really impressed with him. For somebody that's 35-year-old and been linked with Celtic, you're thinking, do you know what? Joe Hart was 34 and wasn't playing international football. This guy's 35 and he's still playing international football. He's been at Newcastle for a few years. He was on loan to Manchester United. He's a keeper that Celtic see as one of the highest calibre going. But a lot of people will say, like, he's 35-year-old. Well, Joe Hart was 34 when he joined Celtic. He was 37 when he retired. And even that was young, but Joe Hart wanted to go out on a high. Joe Hart had been there and done it, and he had 75 caps for England. It's where Martin Dubravka has only, I think he's had 47 caps for his country. Now, 47 caps is no slim undertaking. And he's been asked in recent days about whether or not the 35-year-old who's been linked with Celtic before could replace Joe Hart. And he is aware that there is speculation around his Newcastle future. He said at the time, he says, I'm aware that there are rumours. Teammates ask me about it, agents and the people call me. If there's any truth to it, there was truth in it some time ago. And you'll see that stayed at Newcastle. So there was interest. That's interesting that Celtic were after him a year ago when obviously Joe Hart had 1 year left on his contract. He said, I told my agents if there was a concrete offer, then I would consider it. At the moment, and it is only noises at this stage. I think when you look at him, on his performance last night, he was playing against what is meant to be the best country, well, the team that had, they were favourites to win the tournament. Whether they do go and win the tournament will be another thing completely. They were up against a team last night that knew how to defend. They were up against a goalkeeper that was unlucky. You have to say he was unlucky. That overhead kick from Bellingham, that's why Real Madrid paid the money they did for the player. I mean, that was the kind of form that he has at Real Madrid, and he's never produced that the whole tournament until the 94th minute when you're thinking, yes, they're about to go out. It's not coming home. But he has taken to Instagram, also has Martin, and he said, disappointing prevails. We leave with our heads held high. I am proud of my team and every single member. We are heading in the right direction. That's a player that's in no time soon is he letting go of that number 1 jersey for his country. No time soon is he planning on letting go that number. Would it be a real coup for Celtic? Would it be a real coup for Celtic if they got the player, if they managed to get him? It looks like he will be released from Newcastle. Newcastle United, there is a lot of rumours going around in Newcastle this afternoon. Newcastle World are saying that it looks like he might get released from Newcastle, as Eddie Howe is looking. He's just brought in another keeper. So what does it say for the 35-year-old? Will he be the next Celtic goalkeeper? Is he the man that Brendan Rodgers has been waiting for? I did say if it's anybody that's playing at the Euros, we're going to have to wait until they're out the Euros. Now that we're getting the number of players that we've been linked with is now reduced drastically from the Euros. Could this be the guy that Brendan Rodgers is ultimately saying, look, he's got the experience, he has the level of international pedigree that we're looking for, he can play at the highest level, as we could see, and he's pretty damn good in the box. Now, talking about goalkeepers, we are currently in a situation where Celtic return after, well, come this Friday, it'll be a full week that some of the players have been back in training. Now, we do have a game this week, and the only player that we have in goals that we know of just now, unless there's a couple of younger players being brought in, is Scott Bain. And Scott Bain will be your number one. Think about this for a minute. This is what we're saying. It's 2024, and Scott Bain is going to be your number one. He's Scott Bain will be the number one against Ayr. Against Ayr this Friday. The Scott Brown will take his team with his new stand that's just been built at Ayr and at Ayr United, and Celtic fans have filled the stadium. That's going to give Scott Brown some extra money, some extra cash. I wonder if he'll get any Celtic players, because you just know that him and Brendan are still talking on a regular basis, and they'll have a nice chat before the game, as managers do. And you know that Scott will turn around and say, "Look, Gaffer, if you've a couple of young players that you're wanting to get some game time, feel free to punt them my way for the season." You know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. It happened last season when Scott Brown was at Fleetwood Town, but unfortunately, he only lasted about 6 or 7 games into the season. Hopefully, Scott Brown at Ayr will last a lot longer, and hopefully that he can get some Celtic players in to get them some game time, the younger version. But anyway, back to the big news, and it is the fact that Scott Bain will be in goals come Friday. How do you feel about that? I wonder who else will be playing, because let's face it, Cameron Carter-Vickers will still be away with the United States, or he'll still be on holiday, to say the least. So it is going to be Stephen Welsh that will probably be in the back line. I don't know if Scales is back yet, because he was with Ireland. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting game. Who's looking forward to it? Celtic are back on Friday. We will be doing a live before the game. And once the teams come out, and then we'll do a live straight after it also to talk about the reaction of that very first Celtic pre-season game. And let's face it, it's the only one. Well, we've got another one after that, but the rest of them are going to be during the night. And who's going to stay up till crazy o'clock to watch Celtic? So with Cameron Carter-Vickers awaiting his fate for the Copa America, we know that the one and only Alistair Johnson is one of those players that is getting a good run on the international stage, and it will only benefit him in the long term and his Celtic career, and it will give him that little boost as we go into the Champions League. The 4 players that were away with Scotland will not be back for the game on Friday. They will still be on holiday. I think a couple of them are still in Ibiza, going by some Instagram post. But it all comes down to the goalkeeper. We have the one and only Scott Bain in goals this Friday. Will we have the big Martin Dubravka? Dubravka. Will he be in goals for Celtic at any time soon? Is that the man that Celtic have been waiting for, because he has been away on international duty? So when is Friday? It's only Monday, isn't it? Jesus. You know what day of the week it is. Anyway, let's grab some more Celtic headlines. And a lot of the papers are now coming out with the Matt O'Reilly story, as you would expect. Club chief shares the reality of current transfer. We've had nothing. And Celtic, this one. We've had nothing. Chief says Celtic are in the market for a number of important signings this summer. New centre forward, likely thought to be priority. Aberdeen, the Hoops, have said that the Aberdeen club have said that they've heard nothing about Celtic trying to get in contact with them. So it looks like report 5 million would closer to 7 million, but Aberdeen are saying that there's been no contact from Celtic. There's been no contact from Celtic for the Aberdeen. We've had no offers. We've had nothing, says the Dons power broker. It says they're hoping to try and keep the Mowolski and tie him down with a new deal. But as it comes, as yet, he's had no contact, no offers, no nothing when it comes to Celtic. So it looks like Celtic have got all their eggs in one basket when it comes to Adam Ida, when it comes to Paulo Bernardo, and maybe that big keeper that played for Slovakia, who was unlucky not to see his team put out England. Could you imagine that if he had put out England and then he was to sign for Celtic a week later? He'd be an absolute legend.